Hello friends, welcome to BSc Agriculture. If you are coming to my channel for the first time, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So let's move to the video. In this video, we are going to see about protected cultivation and secondary agriculture, where the course code is APE 311. And so in this video, we are going to see about the commercial grain dryers and some of the different types of dryers we are going to see in this video. So the first one is continuous flow dryers. So the continuous flow dryers are said to be known as column dryers, where the wet grain flow from top to bottom of the dryers, and they also used to have a rate of flow from which there is a column regulated conveyors are said to be accomplished in the flow dryers, and drying is accomplished by forced heating air across the falling layers of grains in different conveyors as well as different columns. So through this we can able to continuously drain the grains which was inputted in this continuous flow dryers, and there are said to be classified into two types. The first one is mixing and the second one is non-mixing. So first we can able to see about the mixing ones, and if you want to get about a simple introduction, you can able to see the before lecture which was said to be found in the last segment of the video. So in mixed type dryers, if the grain flow path is in the dried is diverted, and it is said to be called as mixed type dryer. In mixed type dryers, baffles are said to be provided to cause the grain mixed during the lower downward flow, and there is also an airflow rate of 50 to 95 meter cube per minute, and it used to be occurred per ton, and there is a high drying temperature of 65 degrees centigrade is used, and there is also a zigzag column enclosed by screen on both sides, so there cannot be a mixing of air happen between them, and they used to have achieve mixing during the drying process. And so while seeing about the non-mixing type dryers, the grain flow path is said to be straight, and there cannot be the dryer is said to be called as a non-mixing type, and in this type the non-mixing buffers are not provided in the columns, and drying takes place between two parallel screens, so which can be 15 to 25 centimeter apart. The drying process is said to be taken, and there is a high rate of airflow between 125 to 250 meter cube per meters per minute per ton can be used, and the higher airflow rate permit the faster movement of grains in column, and so there cannot be a mixing of there can be a mixing even occur during the high airflow, but it cannot be happen as like as in mixing type dryers, and the drying air temperature of 54 degrees centigrade is used in non-mixing type dryers. So please note the difference between mixing and non-mixing types, and now we can able to go for recirculatory dryers. So in continuous flow dryers, a multi-pass procedure is to be used to avoid excessive drying stress in the regulatory dryers. So for each pass, we can also remember it as for each batch the grains are exposed to a heat air for a short time of around 15 to 30 minutes, and they can be able to remove around 1 to 3% of the moisture content from the grain in each batch, and in such dryers the air temperature is said to be around 60 to 80 degrees centigrade is used, and the drying is fast and effective because of the continuous movement of grains during a short drying time in the recirculatory dryers. So it is said to be one of an effective method, and between drying passes the grain stored is in a tempered bin for around 4 to 24 hours to allow the moisture at the center which used to move to the surface of the grain to equalize the drying process. So we must need to remember that when we use it to dry up to its center, there can be a grain damage, but by tempering it in a stored bin for around 4 to 24 hours, we can able to get the moisture from the center to the surface of the grain, and then we can able to remove the moisture without damaging the grains. So it is an effective method to save energy. Sometimes exit air from the dryers or partially dry material is recirculated to further drying, and such system is said to be known as a recirculatory dryers. And next one is PHTC recirculatory dryer. So the PHTC is the name given to it due to the post harvest technology center IIT Kharagpur. So because of this institute created it, so they used to name it as PHTC IIT recirculatory dryers, and it is said to be also known as one of the famous model. And this model is said to be a continuous flow non-mixing type of grain dryers. So the drying consists of two concrete perforated cylinders that are said to be around 15 to 20 centimeter apart. As the grain moves downward through the annular space between the cylinders, a centrifugal blowers blow hot air in the inner cylinder, and the hot air then passes through the grain and escape out of the perforated outer cylinder. So the grain is recirculated till it is dried to the desired moisture level, and the capacity of the PHTC recirculated dryer range around 0.5 to 2 tons. Based on the capacity we require, we can able to allot the system for the drying process. And the next one is LSU dryers. So LSU means Louisiana State University dryer, and this design was used to be developed in the mid 1950, and because of this university name they used to get the name LSU dryers. And it is said to be a continuous flow continuous flow mixing type grain dryers, and the design was developed specifically for rice to ensure gentle treatment and good grain mixing and good air to grain contact is said to be happened. And paddy drying is one of the most important steps in post harvest handling because it determines the storage time, milling outrun, and also the appearance of the rice. The less temperature change during the drying and slower drying will result in better milling outturn and also the rice appearance in LSU dryers. Generally, paddy and rice will store longer at lower temperatures because of the drying process taken in LSU. So the LSU consists of these four following process. The first one is rectangular bin, and the second one is air blow duct, and the third one is grain discharge mechanism with a hopper bottom, and fourth one is air heating system. So it is about the different contents which was present in the LSU dryers. So please read about it, and I'm going to explain about the working principle of LSU. So it is said to be a simple one. The blow air into one side of the wall which used to produce heat inside the LSU, and the air will flow into a fin opening through the paddy along to the bottom of the fin to the adjacent through another opening of the wall. So during this in between gap, the drying process used to takes place in this adjacent fin from the few inches of 1 foot, and the paddy is said to be feed into an elevator by gravity flow. The paddy said to in LSU will get mixed well with the hot air while flowing down in the bin, so the paddy tend to dry evenly. And the LSU have high capacity and being used in commercial rice mills, so the capacity vary up to 2 to 12 tons, and the recommended airflow in LSU is 60 to 70 meter cube per minute per ton of parboiled rice, and optimum airflow temperatures are around 60 degrees Celsius and 85 degrees centigrade for raw material and parboiled paddy respectively. So the advantages of LSU or uniform drying products or can be obtained. It can be used for different types of grain, and the disadvantages are complicated bin design and construction and high capital investment, and cost of drying is high if oil is used, or else we can able to use some other raw materials like paddy husk or else the wood, so which is said to be low when compared to oil. So on the next one is clean dryers. So clean dryers are of early design were generally two-story conveyors where a furnace and burner on the lower floor generate heat and warm air would rise on a slotted floor to the upper story, and food such as apple slice would be spread out on a slatted floor and then turned over periodically. This kind of dryer generally will not reduce moisture to below about 10%. It is still in use for apple slices. And the next one is tray dryers. It is usually for small scale operations, so they are comparatively inexpensive but easy to set in terms of drying conditions. They may run up to 25 degree high and will operate with a temperature of around 93 degrees centigrade with a dry bulb and an air velocity of about 2 to 4.5 to 5 per meter second and across the trees, so which can be used for drying the dry fruits and vegetable pieces, and based upon the food and the desired final moisture, drying can be ordered for up to 10 or 20 hours. So it is the picture of tray dryers, and the advantages are flexibility to accommodate for various food products and used for small scale production, low capital and maintenance cost. But the disadvantage is it is a batch system, so we must need to wait for the next batch to be done, and there is a non-uniform drying of products can be occurred due to some improper conditions and relatively poor control and produce more variable product quality as food dries more rapidly on trays nearest to the heat source. So these advantages has been taken in contact, and now some other modifications has been taken in tray dryers. And the next one is tunnel and continuous belt dryer. It is similar to tray dryer, but it has its own variations, like group of tray is stationary where the system is called tray dryers, but in tunnel or continuous belt dryers the trays is to be moving in a tunnel and the system becomes as a tunnel dryers, and so the food are dried on trays with a stack on trucks. So and the semi-continuous through insulated tunnels, typically 20-meter tunnel contain 12 to 15 trucks with a capacity of 5000 kg can be inserted. So there can be the flow of heat in tunnel dryers can be differentiated into three types. They are parallel or co-current type, counter current, cross flow, and it is the pictures of tunnel dryers. And the next one is fluid bed dryer. The fluid bed dryers is a modern drying type, and it is to be used for mainly for granule materials. It is also applicable in the dry solutions, paste and liquid sprayed onto the fluid inserted. The drying method is based on ventilating hot through the bed and produced to kept on a support grid and gas distributor, and where the boiling point reaches, this phenomenon is called fluidization of the material with the air current at the circulating fluid present in the dryers and provide sufficient air pressure to fluidize a thin bed of grain or product, giving excellent air or grain contact results in fast drying. So it is a picture of the dryers. And the next one is spray dryer, where the most important kind of air convection is to be found in spray dryers, where spray dryers turned out to be greater tonnage of dehydrated food products and then all other kinds of dried. So where the food spray dryers are designed for specific food products, so we cannot able to accommodate it for all foods, and there is a limited to food that can be optimized, such as liquids and low velocity pastures or purees, and that is a temperature of around 82 degrees centigrade. In evaporative cooling seldom permit, and a properly designed system quickly remove the dried particles from heated zones, and so the dehydration process can produce exceptionally high quality with many high heat sensible materials including milk, egg and coffee in the spray dryers. It is a picture of spray drying process. And so the next one is vacuum dryer. Vacuum dehydration methods are capable of producing the highest quality dried products than any other dryers, but the cost of vacuum is said to be higher than any other method, and some other methods which do not employ in vacuum. And in vacuum drying, the temperature of food and the rate of water removal are controlled by regulating a degree of vacuum and the intensity of heat input present in them, and the heat transfer of food is largely by conduction and radiation. And so the degree of vacuums we can able to go in the process, or a pressure of 100 kilopascal or can be happened with a pressure support to join a column of mercury. It can be able to motorize it, and there is an equivalent to 760 mm of mercury can be placed, and pure water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, A high vacuum dehydration operates at still lower pressures, such as a fraction of millimeter of mercury. Freeze drying generally will operate in the range of 2 mm down to about 0.1 mm of mercury. And the next one is freeze drying. Freeze drying can be used to dehydrate sensitive high value foods such as coffee and juices, but it is especially suited to dry solid food of high value such as strawberries, whole strips and chicken dices in the freeze drying, and mushroom slice and some other food pieces such as steak and chops, so which was easily affected by microorganisms are used in freeze drying for maintaining its products. And these type of food used to have delicate flavor and color texture can be maintained through freeze drying, which cannot be preserved by any other current drying methods. And it is a picture of freeze drying method. So it is a picture I have given in this one is a capsule method, but to tell you about it, but it is not an effective picture to tell you about the freeze drying process. It is a chemical pills making method, so you can able to see the pictures of some other freeze drying in internet. And so the performance of dryer is mainly depend upon the quality of grain must be preserved and the uniform drying process and the arrest mold and germination, and the drying should be efficient in heat utilizations. And so the performance measures are static pressure as well as moisture content of the grain initial and top at various bottoms, drying bulb temperature and the blower speed, fuel consumed, actual drying periods and milling quality. And so the some other factors affecting our initial moisture content of the produce or grains, final moisture content and drying, air temperature or the relative humidity of air, airflow rate, area of dryers and bed thickness. So we can be able to calculate the performance of drying using these formulas, so please note it down and use it in your examinations. So I have given the lecture notes in description, so comment about the video and join us in the Instagram page. I have given the links in the description, so if you like the video, like it and share it with your friends and subscribe to BSc Agriculture and hit the bell icon to get regular updates. So thanks for watching the video. I will catch you up in next videos.